team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Part 2. I know the Bird gang was a little upset by how the last video ended, because as soon as they started talking about birds, when I cut it off. But that's what part 2 is for, man. We back. So I hope y'all enjoy this video. This is at the 8-minute mark. And like I said, I think they're about to start going into Bird more, because the first few minutes was all about Magic, kind of introducing him, whatever, you know, kind of just doing a little background on him at Michigan State. But I think it's time for Bird, man. So shout out to the Bird gang, man. If you're part of the Bird gang, write something in the comments. But shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to the Magic gang. I'm starting to see y'all. The more Magic videos I post, the more, like, you know, Showtime Lakers that I'm posting, like, that's involved in the show. Like, I'm starting to see y'all, and I'm excited. I like to see, you know, a lot of different people on the channel. That's what I'm doing it for. So I appreciate everybody, man, that's tapping in, that's subscribing, that's liking, that's commenting. Like, I appreciate everybody, man. If y'all rock with me, I'll rock with y'all. But let's get into it, man. We ain't gonna do too much talk. We're gonna get straight to this part 2 of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, a courtship of rivals basketball. Let's get it.
Atop the college game, he soon discovered a certain presence beside him.
Bird gang.
The first time I saw Larry Bird was actually in a magazine. Saw his stats. Blown away by his stats. But let's see if he can really do it against us. And that's always a mindset of black players if he's a great white player.
In 1978, after his freshman year, Magic would quickly find out, when both he and Bird were chosen to play for Team USA in the World Invitational Tournament.
Bird ain't looking at the camera.
They would put Larry Bird and I on the same team together to scrimmage, right? It was blowing my mind because he's dominating Jack Givens, Player of the Year in college basketball. Larry Bird is eating him alive. I couldn't wait to call.
Anybody know who Jack Givens is? I'm not hip to him. Give me a little background on him. They say he was the Player of the Year. So him being the Player of the Year over Magic or Bird, that's crazy. Let me know about Jack Givens.
Home to tell my boys, man, this dude named Larry Bird is for real. This is the baddest white dude I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I thought he was very good. There's no question about it. I thought he was probably the best guard on the team.
Irvin Johnson, look at that.
We didn't get to play a lot, but you could tell.
I think our first game was in Kentucky. We got about a 10, 12-point lead. And they put us in. Went to 25, 30, just that fast.
All right, so I think they kind of explained what this game was, but hey, y'all, I didn't pay attention in school that much, so I didn't even hear what they said. But what is this game? I see it's USA. Is this the college? Is this the Olympics? I know they were saying back in the day that they always used to grab college players for the Olympics, but exactly what game is this? They might have explained it, but like I said, I probably wasn't listening.
Fast break again, 3-on-2.
Yes.
Griffin. How about steal by Larry Bird? Take us out. The lead go back down, put us back in. Bird and Johnson. The show started again.
When you play with Magic, there's just something about it. You want to make that extra pass. You want to get that rebound and start the break.
We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me, and I'm laying it up. I'm saying, oh man.
Here's that last play. Magic Johnson going in, drops off the Bird. Bird puts it back off.
Hey, that was tough.
Super bad.
That was tough.
This guy got game.
They had some wonderful moments on the court, but they probably spoke to each other 4, maybe 5 times during that entire time period, and it was more like, hello, how are you this morning, Larry? I'm good, Magic. What'd you have for breakfast? Don't remember. Have a nice day.
But such curtness was hardly strange coming from Larry Bird, who was not only one of college basketball's best players, but also its biggest enigma.
I think he was a mystery to the extent that he wanted to be a mystery. He didn't enjoy doing interviews. He didn't go out of his way to do them. He wasn't particularly good at them. He was kind of like, hey, This is who I am. You want to know who I am? Watch the game. That's who I am.
I start to read materials that you're very quiet and you don't enjoy talking to newspaper people.
Well, you know, there's different kind of newspaper people. There's people that try to push you. You know, there's people try to get things out of you, things that don't even pertain to basketball, and them are the type of people I like to stay away from.
He didn't want people talking about his family. He didn't want his mother to have to deal with that, or his siblings to have to deal with that.
You got to remember where Larry came from. You know, Larry was raised in a 2 or 3 room house on a railroad track. Their family probably lived on $50 a week. He was raised tough.
French Lick, Indiana.
Larry Joe Bird.
If you ever grew up in that area, give me a little background on French Lick, Indiana. Like, what's there? How many high schools is there? What's the population? Like, tell me a little bit about French Lick, Indiana. Like, even if you wasn't from there, if you live in that area, or you know, you travel to French Lick and you see Larry Bird's town or something, like, give me a little background on French Lick, Indiana.
Bird grew up in southern Indiana, in the twin towns of French Lick and West Baden. The Valley, as locals call it, was a tough working-class area.
Oh, they about to
tiny and remote. It was one of the poorest places in the state.
Damn, it's poor.
I didn't know that people made millions of dollars. I didn't know that everybody had a family car. I was in my own cocoon. I was in a small town with the people I knew, and I thought I'd live there for the rest of my life.
Arriving Pearl Harbor Day 1956, Larry was the 4th of 6 kids born to Georgia and Joe Bird. Early on, he and his older brothers earned a reputation around the Valley.
We were always considered troublemakers. We're either fighting amongst ourselves, or there was always one of us fighting somebody.
That's what made him tough.
Larry was always one that kind of instigated things, you know.
If I get my brother in a fight with somebody his age, I was happy as hell, because I like to see him get beat up, and that's just the way it was. If I got in a scrape with some kid, and my brothers didn't come to my side, they knew that when he got home, my dad was going to whip him.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. We had that same thing back when I was a kid. My dad used to always say, like, I had cousins that was my age. Debo, y'all know Debo. He's my age. He's a little bit younger than me, but yeah, I had cousins my age, and they used to always say, like, you're not about to just let your cousin fight. Like, we had the same mentality as them, and I think that makes you tough. That builds a bond that, you know, to this day, my cousins is my brothers. You know, shout out to Ronnie and Dante. They're my brothers. And I think it was because of the way that our parents was raised. You know, they was raised the same exact way. So because of that, shoot, we cousins, but we basically brothers, man. Like, I think that's just how it's supposed to be.
Larry and my dad were the best of friends. They done everything together. When my dad would go out to my grandma's house, Larry would always go with him. They'd go fishing, do a lot of things together.
But Joe Bird also had a darker side, stemming from a traumatic tour of duty in Korea.
Larry remembers waking up in the middle of the night hearing his father's blood-curdling screams from the nightmares he had had from the war. What happened to his father in the war affected his entire life. He was never able to quite get rid of whatever those demons were.
A talented craftsman, Joe Bird struggled to hold steady jobs. And even when he was working, his demons would, on occasion, drive him to the bottle.
There were times when Joe went out with the guys and had a few beers and the wages didn't come home that night. And that didn't happen every day. It happened once in a while, but when money is as tight as it was for the Birds, once in a while was a major problem for their family.
My mom sometimes worked late, and sometimes she had 2 jobs, but that's the way it was. I worked at school during my lunch hours, worked at the local grocery store, put up hay in the summer. I mean, if you wanted money, you had to get it on your own.
You gotta get it.
To young Larry, actions spoke louder than words.
He was very quiet, kind of hung to himself a little bit.
I saw Larry take an F in an English class because he had to get up in front of his peers and give a speech. So I won't do it. But he just could not get up in front of his friends and talk. He was that shy.
Of course, next thing you know, when he knew it was time for all of us together at the gymnasium, there he'd be. The minute he'd get a basketball in his hand, things were totally different.
Basketball was just, it came to me, seemed like easy.
That's kind of funny, man, because I kind of relate. Like, I'm a very shy person as well. Like, if you see me outside of, you know, this YouTube stuff, like, you would not realize that I'm actually super shy. I think this YouTube channel actually is awesome for me because I'm able to, you know, kind of just talk in the comfort of my home right now, but I'm still getting my messages out to, you know, thousands of people that's gonna watch this video. So I enjoy that part of it. And also, you know, I was super shy as a kid. He was super shy as a kid, but, you know, as you get older, you know, you have more stuff to talk about. You know, you get more comfortable with what you got going on. You get more comfortable. I know more than just basketball now. Like, I'm able to actually hold a intellectual conversation with people that I couldn't do when I was a kid. So a lot of that got a lot to do with it, you know, when you're younger and you just don't really want to talk to people because you just feel like you're not comfortable enough to really, like, articulate what you want to say. And I think Larry Bird is a great, you know, speaker now. Like, he spoke in front of millions of people at his Hall of Fame speech. So just imagine the Bird as a kid who wouldn't go talk in front of his class to the Larry Bird that's talking in front of millions of people at his Hall of Fame speech. Like, it's the growth of just being comfortable with yourself. And I think that go a long way, man. So if anybody out there, you know, if you're super shy, man, like, it's okay. It's okay. Just continue to, you know, teach yourself, continue to just be comfortable with yourself, and you'll eventually break through that. And trust me, I did it so you could do it.
I didn't have the quickness, I didn't have jumping ability.
Basketball, you had it.
Thought the game out.
By his senior year at Springs Valley High, Larry Bird had sprouted into a star. But Bird was from the Valley, hardly a hotbed of talent in the big-time world of Indiana hoops.
The first thing they say, well, they don't play nobody down there. He's from French Lick. They don't play nobody.
I think that put a chip on his shoulder, always having to prove who he was and how good he was.
He was good enough for Indiana University's Bobby Knight to come calling late his senior year.
Bobby Knight!
And folks in the Valley couldn't have been prouder. Their local hero was heading 60 miles north to play ball for one of the best college teams in the land.
Once I got to IU, it didn't take long to realize that I was out of my cocoon. Had over 30-some thousand students. That I didn't have the funds. First week and a half, I thought, man, this ain't gonna work.
He left after 24 days.
Bounced after 3 weeks.
My mother down. She didn't talk to me for 2 months. But it didn't matter what other people said. To this day, I don't care.
I don't really like to do hypotheticals, but hey, I think it's fun for the video. Why not? Hypothetically speaking, you know, if Larry Bird stayed at Indiana, if he never left and went to Indiana State, how do y'all think his career would have ended up? Do you think it would have ended up better? You think it would have ended up, you know, the exact same? I mean, it's Larry Bird. You know, he's going to do what he was going to do regardless. Like, you got that aspect of it? Or do you think he would have been a worse player? Do you think, you know, if he would have just tried to fight it out with Indiana, you think he would have just ended up, like, just being an average player, not creating that superstar, you know, persona that he ended up having after, you know, being the man at Indiana State? Let me know. Let me know what y'all think his career, how his career would have ended up if he would have stayed in Indiana. Let me know.
Back in French Lick, Bird took to working for the city, hauling trash and painting park benches. Meanwhile, by that winter, his father's demons had taken him to an even darker place.
Damn.
By this point, Joe and Georgia were divorced, and he was behind in his payments to the family. The police came by, and of course they all knew him. So Joe said, hey, I need a few hours to get my affairs together before you take me away. So he called Georgia and he said, you guys will be better off without me, and I'm going to take my life. And he put the phone down and he killed himself. He shot himself.
So tough, man.
When Dad passed, you know, it hurt Larry. I mean, that was his best friend. It's gone now. But Larry didn't show it a lot.
He just didn't say much. You know, he just kind of held it within. I never heard him speak out about it at all.
You know, kind of one thing I want to kind of talk about with this is, you know, like, if you're going through something, like, don't be afraid to seek help. Like, don't get me wrong, like, Larry Bird was a super, super tough guy. You know, I admire him for that. Like, that is super admirable. But if you're going through something, like with his dad, you know, with him just going through all of that, like, if you're going through something, like, speak out, you know, go get help, go get counseling, go get mental health awareness teaching, like just different things. Like I think the worst thing that people kind of put on men, specifically black men, is that you're weak if you cry out for help, or you want to go get some counseling, or you want to go to do these different things to help your mental health. You kind of consider weak. But that's not reality. Like everybody go through stuff. Everybody's is going through these different, trials and tribulations in their life. So like if you're going through something, like I'm talking to you right there. If you're going through something, like don't be that person that's like, yeah, like I'm a tough guy. Like, I'm gonna just fight it out. Like don't get me wrong, you're gonna face adversity. You gotta fight through adversity, but don't hold all that in, because I don't want to say it, but like, his dad, like situations like that, just, holding so much in, like you'll eventually explode, man. So seek out help if you need it. And even if you're feeling all right, even if you're feeling perfectly fine, there's still nothing wrong to go get counseling and go just talk to somebody about what you're going through. Like it can still help you out. But that's my TED Talk for the day.
I was mad when I heard about it, and I was madder after the funeral because I thought he sort of cut out on us during a tough time. But he went through a lot in his life. He did what he had to do.
Tough.
If Bill Hodges hadn't been as persistent as he had been, Larry Bird might never have existed in any of our minds. I believe that with all my heart. I really do.
It was Bill Hodges, a young coach from Indiana State University, who convinced Bird to give college hoops another shot. So with a promise to his mom to graduate, Bird headed to Terre Haute and ISU, a school that never so much had been to the NCAA tournament.
Once I started playing, it's the same old thing. He's at a small school and he ain't playing against anybody, which is fine. Still dominated.
Still dominated. Hey, you only can play who you play. I don't care who in front of you. Dunk that.
Now his claim to fame is just the way he
still dominated.
Wherever Hoosiers
pull up, one dribble, pull up. I don't care who in front of me. I'm gonna get anybody buckets. Spin move, dunk that. You gotta dunk that shit. Hey, what movie is that from, y'all? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, Indiana State rocking. How far is Indiana State from Indiana?
ISU was a senior to a 33-0 record and a spot in the '79 title game. Larry Bird had become, alongside Magic Johnson, the talk of college basketball. Just a year after sharing the court on Team USA, they were back together. And the day before the big game, Magic couldn't wait to greet his old playmate.
Indiana State was on practicing, and we were waiting in the tunnel. We got there early. I wanted to definitely say hello to Larry, When they came through, it was like nobody would say nothing. I wanted to go toward him, like his guys, made sure that he didn't say nothing. And then they kind of start snickering, like, Michigan State, you in trouble. We're going to kill you guys tomorrow.
I probably did snub him. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did. I didn't want any, like I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
Feel it.
That just said it's on now.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans here are going bananas.
I mean, let's face it, if Larry Bird were black and came from Chicago, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. They were polar opposites. Mm-hmm. One black, one white, one outgoing, one shy. That was the charm of the attraction.
The Bird against Magic. All of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
Heading into the tournament, Magic was the bigger star. But by tip-off, it was Bird, having hardly missed a shot in the semifinal, would become the focus of fans, and more importantly, of Michigan State.
We actually had two men on Larry everywhere he went.
They better have.
There he is, Dick. Look at they have him sandwiched in completely.
I'm surprised they didn't play a box on one. 4 guys on Larry and one on the other 4, because they didn't have a lot of talent. If you stop Larry, you pretty much stop them.
Look at the pressure around him. 2-3 that.
I didn't play well.
Doubling that boy.
Biggest game of my life. I didn't play well.
I think this game kind of helped Larry Bird in a way. Because something that I always say when I watch some of Larry Bird's games is you can't double Larry Bird. Like this was probably like 1985, 1986 Boston Celtics videos that I reacted to. I'm like, you cannot double Larry Bird. But in this game, which was 1979, he was getting doubled the entire game, and they said he struggled. So little do we know, this game probably helped him out. He's like, all right, I got to figure out ways that I can still be effective even if I'm getting doubled. So I need to work on my passing, I need to work on my awareness, work on just my whole overall game so that people can't double me. And shit, I think it happened. So shout out to Michigan State for creating a beast out of Larry Bird.
I think our length and our size, our jumping ability was able to bother him.
There's 2 people owning the entire time. He still could have made that one though.
I think 3 free throws.
Larry Bird has had a cold shooting night.
I battled him, but I didn't have it.
Shit happens. Hey, man. Okay, Irving. Hey.
Michigan State University, national champions, 1979. Magic, not only were you a leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
And congratulations, Super Bowl game.
Damn, Larry.
It was over, That was my 4 years. I was done. It still hurts. When you win 33 in a row and you walk into a game, you never know what to expect, but I expect to win. We didn't win.
And that's where we're going to end this video at, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. Part 3 will be coming in the next couple days. I will not have y'all waiting that long, so just stay tuned. I know Bird Gang, y'all don't want it to end like this with him losing with the towel in his face, but I'm sure it's gonna get better. I'm sure they're gonna explain everything that happened. But I appreciate y'all like always. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't. Roll to 10K. Once I hit 10K subscribers, I will be giving out an Amazon gift card to one of my subscribers that I see commenting that's rocking with me, because if y'all rock with me, I'll rock with y'all. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.